Hello everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name is Sean Wasserkrug and I'm here to review all the latest movies in theaters as well as any of them that you recommend, whether they be recent releases or old school movies. Before we get into today's review, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button to the channel so that you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up. And also don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets that you see below. Now today we are going to be reviewing the latest film that has just come out in theaters, The Upside, starring Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart. Now this looks to be kind of one of the first times that I can honestly remember Kevin Hart going kind of a little bit more to the dramatic side and less of a comedic role. Obviously Kevin Hart, he's the usual, zany, crazy, over-the-top kind of character. We've seen him in many such roles like that where he's just very loud and obnoxious. But he's got that charm that makes people, want to watch him and just be an overall likable person and character. Bryan Cranston, obviously, is one of the better actors working today. I mean, anyone who hasn't seen Breaking Bad is missing out on some of the best acting in television history. So naturally, anything with Bryan Cranston, I just have to see because I'm a huge, huge fan of his. And I kind of wanted to see what he was going to do with this role. But basically, the general plot of The Upside is it's actually a true story that was also it's a remake of a French film called The Untouchables that came out in 2011. And it's based on the true story of, and I'm going to butcher the hell out of this name, Felipe Pozo de Borgo. Okay. But basically, he's a very rich, I believe he's an investor, like a real estate tycoon kind of guy. And in 1993, he had a paragliding accident where he basically became a quadriplegic, which basically means he can't feel anything from the neck down. He loses his wife to cancer, and basically there's this gentleman who, in real life, his name is Abdel Salou, and basically he's a former criminal, and he basically needs a job, or his parole officer is going to send him back to jail. And so basically, one of the parole things sends him to this this mansion, and he thinks it's a janitorial job, and it's actually he's going to become a life auxiliary to Felipe, and basically that's where the story goes from there. The Upside follows basically the same front, except that it's in America, not France, and it follows Philip Lacassie. I think that's the name that Cranston is going by in this film. Yeah, Philip Lacassie. And Kevin Hart, instead of being Abdel Salou, he's going by Del Scott. And like I said, follows the same traits in this. Cranston, obviously super rich. He's like a thriving like businessman who helps with startup companies and invests in them and makes them huge, or helps failing companies become successful. And once again, paragliding accident leaves him paraplegic, quadriplegic. I'm probably saying that all wrong, and I apologize. And his assistant, played by Nicole Kidman, her name's Yvonne. In this, basically they hire Del, and basically everything kind of goes from there. It's about a relationship of two people who are polar opposites of one another coming together to basically become great friends. And that's the general plot of The Upside. There's not really much more than that. But what actually works with this film overall is solid performances from Cranston and Hart in the film. Hart, he doesn't go full dramatic in this like the trailers suggest. I mean, he still has his comedic moments. But in terms of all of his previous films, this is the most dramatic we've ever seen Kevin Hart go. It's not like he's going out of his way for a dramatic role, nor do I see this opening him up to more dramatic roles in the future, but it is his most dramatic film to date. Cranston is Cranston. I mean, Cranston's going to knock it out of the park no matter what he does, and he's clearly the best performance of the movie. He does a great job of basically playing a man who can't feel anything from the neck down, and he has so much he's hiding that he's guilt-ridden over the passing of his wife, and you can just tell it's a man who's just going through the days. He doesn't really have much of a will to live anymore, but he's not the type of guy who will commit suicide. Nicole Kidman, she's solid in the small role she has. She doesn't really give a whole lot to go on. They do start to kind of give her more of a actual story near the end of the film. But it doesn't. It kind of is left open ended, and we don't really find out what happens with that. But the best thing about it is Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston have great chemistry together. Basically, right when they start working together in the movie, that's when the movie actually starts to hit its stride, and it starts to become quite enjoyable. There's some great dramatic moments led by Cranston that Kevin Hart basically attaches himself to, and then makes great character moments between both characters. There's some great laugh out loud moments between Kevin Hart and Cranston, and basically when those two are together on screen, you're going to pretty much enjoy the film overall. Overall, like I said, solid performances from Hart, Cranston, and Kidman, and great character moments throughout that are going to make you laugh, maybe cry, depending on the person, but you're definitely going to feel something for these characters in the movie. They do a great job of making you actually care about these characters, and basically feel for what they're both going, or all three are going through. Now, what does not work in the film overall is Kevin Hart's character, Del, is a pretty unlikable dude, for the most part. The beginning of the film, like the first 15 minutes, Kevin Hart is, and this is not anything that's Kevin Hart's fault. I want to get that out of the way. This is not Kevin Hart's fault. This is literally how the character Del is written. He's pretty unlikable to the point where he doesn't deserve the job. He doesn't do anything to get the job in his way. He just comes in and acts like an asshole. And for some reason, that's what Cranston's character likes or wants, and that's how he gets hired. But yeah, I mean, the Kevin Hart's character, I mean, they try to make you feel sorry for him, but there's no reason to feel sorry for his character. Everything that's happening to him or has happened to him is all on his shoulders, and it's all his fault. It's no, the system, or this happened to me, I didn't do it. It's just, no, you're a dick, and you effed up, and this is the reason why things happen to you. And it isn't until he starts to really develop that relationship with Cranston's character that Kevin Hart's character actually becomes tolerable and actually likable. Because basically at that point, Kevin Hart stops playing this asshole character and actually starts to play more like actual Kevin Hart, with some more dramatic scenes. Now, while that might take away from the actual character he's playing, it does make the movie overall more enjoyable. There are a lot of cliches in the movie towards African Americans, so that could be kind of like a kind of situation. There are certain parts, especially that happen in the film, that you kind of roll your eyes at, like, oh, are they really going to go there, kind of thing, and they do. To a point, which is quite a big negative in certain parts of the film. Some people might not notice it or even care about it, but for me, it was just like, this didn't need to happen. We didn't need to go this route with it, and they still went with it anyway. The other big part that was kind of a negative is that there is a secondary subplot that is more about Del's criminal background, or the group he used to hang with. And they just keep dropping hints throughout the movie that something is going to happen with this gang or group, and it amounts to nothing. I mean, if it's there, it's just, I guess, maybe to kind of show Del's old background a little bit more, but they never really delve into it enough for you to care about it. They do kind of almost leave a trail to think that this group is going to come after Cranston's character at a point, or try to take advantage of Del's situation with Philip, but nothing ever happens with it, so it's just kind of pointless to have in the film overall. And the movie just kind of ends abruptly as well. They kind of leave this opening of a potential character relationship that's going to happen at the end of the movie, but we don't ever see anything that happens with it, nor do they leave any kind of tail end at the end of the movie about that relationship, as most based on true stories do. So it's just kind of weird, because you see a potential relationship happening between two characters, but it doesn't ever get to that point, and you think it might happen at the end of the movie, but you don't really get it, and then the movie just kind of ends, which was kind of abrupt, and kind of was just like, really, you're going to end it like that? Could have found a better way to end it, personally. But yeah, I mean, those are the things that really just don't work. Overall, thoughts on the film? It's a decent film to start the year. I mean, it's not the worst movie out there. It's a solid film. I quite enjoyed it for the most part. Like I said, once Cranston and Hart actually start interacting and actually having legit conversations instead of Kevin Hart trying to just be the tough ex-con, kind of character, and he actually starts to relax in the role, it's actually quite enjoyable film for the most part, and I think for most people are going to quite enjoy it. Now, is it something that you need to rush out to theaters to go see? No. But right now, with movies in theaters, I mean, unless you want to see anything that's been out in the last month, such as like your Aquamans, your Bumblebees, or any of the Oscar movies that are probably hitting theaters right now that haven't been already released, it's basically this or Escape Room or Keanu Reeves' Replicas, which I personally have not got to see Replicas yet. I will be seeing it here very soon. But I mean, yeah, I mean, if you want a heartwarming story between two polar opposite people who end up becoming friends in the end, then I recommend this movie overall. And if you want to see Kevin Hart do something a little bit different than what he normally does, then I recommend this. And of course, anyone who's a fan of Bryan Cranston will enjoy this movie because Bryan Cranston does a great performance in the film. But yeah, like I said, decent film overall. Not something you need to rush out to see. Is it something that maybe you might want to check out once it becomes streaming or on DVD or Blu-ray or Redbox? Sure, but like I said, not anything that you have to go out of your way to try and watch. So that's the overall thoughts of the movie The Upside. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and if you guys did, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you feel like this review is worth sharing, you go ahead and hit that share button as well. But most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to follow us at all the social media outlets that you see below. And until next time, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.